So hello, good evening viewers. Today we have again one of the toppers with us from this year's NEET-SS from 2026 from the Critical Care Medicine group. I'm Dr. Riddhi. I'm the Critical Care Medicine faculty at Marrow. And today we have Dr. Swetha Ramesh with us today. She has again done splendidly well. She has secured rank 4 in NEET-SS 2026. So just like Swetha, we are also overjoyed to hear about her results. And we'll also learn a lot more about how her journey has been in terms of her preparation and how she ended up securing this wonderful rank. So firstly, congratulations, Dr. Swetha Ramesh, from all of us at Marrow. We are very proud.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, so obviously we'll talk about your strategy and preparation later, but firstly we would like to know about your background in terms of from where you come and what has been your like training till now.
I've completed my MD in emergency medicine. I finished it in JIPMER Pondicherry. I'm now currently working as an SR in JIPMER Pondicherry. I finished about a year or so ago, and I started, but then I was not preparing for the exam. I was very content working as a senior resident. I started preparing for the exam about 45 days, 45 days before the exam, and Marrow, the videos really helped out.
Right. So, like you said that you're from emergency medicine. I was telling you before as well, you're the second candidate that I'm actually interviewing who is from emergency medicine background who has like secured a very high rank. Last year also there was somebody from emergency medicine. So like obviously in emergency medicine, you also deal with a lot of acute care, right? Obviously maybe not in the way that critical care does, but in a separate kind of a way. So obviously you have some exposure to critical care. So how hectic was your time as senior resident? Because generally I know emergency medicine duties, especially when you're doing your senior residency, can be quite hectic. So how hectic were your duties, and when did you actually decide that okay, I need to pursue critical care? When was that in your mind?
My duties were as a junior resident, they were quite hectic. We used to do about 12-hour shifts on a regular basis almost every day. So the transition from junior residency to senior residency itself was a little peaceful. So once I was able to become a senior resident, I felt like there was a bit of relief, and like it was easier to study because we wanted to study rather than the compulsion to study for an exam or so. And that kind of helped out. And initially, I had no plans of watching all the videos. I just thought I'll write the exam as a like one. I'll just give it an attempt because it's my first attempt, and then I'll like, take a call the next time. But then the content was so clinically relevant that as we saw more videos, we don't know that these things exist. So we got looked into seeing more and more videos. It was like watching a more than like a study material. It was more like watching a movie for me. It was very interesting to watch. So I once I started my videos, people had to tell me, okay, I think you finished your videos for the day, you can stop. But then it was so clinically relevant. And when you take it back to my department, and like I try to teach the same to my juniors as well when we are taking rounds or small things, everybody is equally interested to learn these things. So it was very nice for me to learn and to teach the same.
So, like that's a very interesting. First time somebody said that the videos were almost like movies. So I'll take that as a compliment. But like, just when did you actually decide? Like you said, you probably started about 2 months prior to the exams, like starting all the videos. So obviously that is not much of a time. I have interviewed people who have started 6 months prior, 7 months prior. So obviously, and then I think the number of videos are around close to more than 80 videos now. So how did you actually manage to squeeze all that with your duties in such a short period?
I personally felt like there were about 82 videos when I had started preparing, and I had 45 days of time when I decided that I wanted to write the exam. So 15 days I thought would be required for revising the content that I've studied. So I didn't want to see new videos in the last 15 days. The first initial 30 days I divided, each video was about 45 to 50 minutes. I actually spent quite a bit of time. The first day of my preparation, I spent calculating the time of each video and figuring out how many hours per day I had to study in the 30 days to finish the videos, and came up to around 2.5 to 3 hours a day that I had to do. 2.5 hours was average. So if I could watch it in 1.52x, I could finish it in about half the time. So 1.5 to 2 hours at least a day I would have had to spend, even if I watch it in 1.5. And I am someone who cannot read from prepared notes. I have to manually jot down my own notes. So it took me slightly longer. So I took about 2.5 hours a day to watch the videos. And simultaneously, whenever I got free time here and there, I used to do the Q bank. As I finished the video, I did the Q bank. And then while I was in my revision phase, I reset to the Marrow Q bank and I did the Q bank again one more time just to be cover the questions. Additionally, also the every time I finished the Q bank, I went and I added the points in my notes. If one thing I noticed was I felt like maybe this point was not covered in the topic, but maybe because I watched in 2x, I have missed the point. When I went back and tried to add it, I'd already written it down in some part of the notes. So that was very useful.
So you told me about your Marrow videos and the question bank that you did and the notes and all that you prepared, which is kind of a standard strategy. And obviously you had some base, like I would say some baseline good knowledge from your emergency medicine as well, like in terms of arrhythmias, all the acute care stuff, right? So any other resources or any other textbooks that you tried to cover during this time, or any other resources other than the Marrow videos and the notes?
I used question banks. I used as many question banks as I could, and just to see if the videos that I'm watching, I'm able to cover the questions in other platforms as well.
Okay.
Other than that, Tintinelli, which was our emergency medicine standard book, I think for Marrow, a lot of the questions, the reference was from Tintinelli only. So for that was a little useful for me. So because it was a book that I was already familiar with, I could go back and refer to the book and see if some points that I felt like are not there in the book also were actually there in the book. If I went back to that page number and I found that it was there in the book. So I revised Tintinelli as well. And what I'd read for my PG preparation was Tintinelli and Goldfrank from toxicology. So
Okay.
both of those I felt were from PG knowledge was useful.
Mm. And like, how was the question pattern? Like, obviously, last year's NEET-SS, they had a lot of questions from toxicology. When I was like doing the recall videos, I found
Yes, sir.
this year I didn't find so many questions as last year from toxicology. So, how did you find the questions, like in terms of your Marrow preparation or whatever Marrow was offering, and whether you were able to attempt those questions based on your critical care knowledge or whatever that you gained from Marrow?
Yes, sir. I felt like the last year paper was a little bit more emergency oriented because there was almost some 40 questions that were from toxicology. And
True.
from people who had told me about it, I also focused more on toxicology because I felt like, okay, if toxicology is going to take a major chunk, easier to score from things that I'm already familiar with. But toxicology this time, there was only one question, sir, from toxicology. Primarily, it was more critical care management. There was a lot from the pulmonary artery catheter part, and there were questions from the ventilation videos. Ventilation videos were very useful. We do ventilation to an extent, but we don't deal with advanced modes of ventilation as much. We don't have the privilege of monitoring the patients as frequently as we would in critical care. So the ventilation videos were very useful. All the questions that came from ventilation, I answered purely based on narrow videos only. And for toxicology per se, I feel like even if the questions were not from toxicology, it's something that will help in clinical practice. So it will still be useful at some point, hopefully.
Besides, because you are from an emergency medicine background, you guys, and generally you tend to like, anyways, deal with a lot of toxicology cases in the emergency as well. So, like, you are the people who are taking the first hit, and then obviously those patients get shifted to the ICU. So, generally, I would find that emergency medicine residents, they generally are very good with their toxicology knowledge. So, obviously, like ventilation and stuff, ARDS, sepsis stuff, those things are maybe things that probably you get to work on a bit more when you are in the ICU. So obviously you kind of managed to do everything and sum up everything together in a very short period of time. That is like really very commendable. Like just 2 months prior to the exam, deciding to make the switch. So now that you have got the rank, you've got a wonderful rank. Like rank 4, it will give you a lot of options. Obviously, you'll get DM at a lot of government institutes as well, and then obviously you can get DRNB as well. They're mostly in the private or the corporate sector. So, like, have you decided regarding possible institutes or what you would like to do?
I'm still a little conflicted, sir, but from what I could gather up in the past 1 or 2 days, I'm leaning towards CMC Vellore, sir. I think that as an institution, I have a lot of respect for the institution and the name. So hopefully, I get into CMC.
Yes. CMC Vellore is a wonderful institute. They also have a wonderful ICU. They have a very protocolized ICU. I have a lot of juniors like who came to AIMS to do MD anesthesia, and then I know of people who went back. And obviously, CMC Vellore is a institute par excellence. There's no doubt about it. So obviously, you will get other institutes as well with your rank. You'll get like almost all the options. So I'm pretty sure you're going to get a very good institute with your rank, and then
Thank you,
obviously,
sir. Thank you
if
so
you have
much, sir.
decided to make the switch, you're going to do wonderfully. So at this point, like obviously, you have kind of gone through all the Marrow stuff. So things that we could improve on, or things that you felt that these are the things that are lacking. Because anyway, this is a thing that we are actually like developing more and more. So even now you will see some videos coming in. I'm working on ECMO and stuff and all. So other things that we could add in terms of whatever that Marrow is offering right now.
Sir, I felt like actually, sir, after I finished the exam, what I felt was not that was covered by Marrow. Sir. ECMO was the one thing that I was like something that I've not seen or like seen at all. So I've obviously in my peripheral postings in critical care, I've seen ECMO and PICU, but I don't have much experience with ECMO for an emergency physician. I'm sure the setting for different departments will be different, but from my point of view, ECMO was one thing that I had to use other videos for. But then after I finished the exam, ECMO was also covered. I watched the video on ECMO also just uh, uh, to
You
learn.
just added the ECMO videos, I know.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so because that was one thing was missing, I thought that okay, I'll add the ECMO later because I wasn't expecting too much questions to come from ECMO, but nowadays in the recent years they're starting to ask ECMO and stuff as well. So and I think if finally if I would want to ask you is that like obviously anybody you would like to thank at this point because it's not always about your preparation, right? You need family support and
Thank you, sir.
everybody else. So anybody you would want to thank at this point?
I have a list. My parents, my in-laws, my husband, all of them have been very supportive to me. When I told them in the end that I've decided that I'm pretty comfortable with my job now after 3 years of junior residency. When I told them that I'm going to go and do another degree, they were really supportive and they were like, okay. I mean, the reason they were okay with emergency medicine, my parents personally, was because I told them it's an N branch. Everybody was telling me, okay, you'll get surgery, you'll get OG. Why don't you want to do that? And I told them it's an N branch. I can finish in 3 years. Then after that, when I went back and told them for some personal reasons I wanted to do critical care, like you wanted an N branch and now you've decided to do something else. But then they never questioned me about it. They were supportive throughout. My in-laws as well and my husband as well. Everybody has been very supportive. And my department in JIPMER, all my faculty for many of the questions that I felt my faculty make it a point to teach us during every rounds, even if it is a busy session of ED. We still have academics that is 2 days a week. We have academics. And they make sure they take the time to read and come and ask us questions during rounds. And my guide, all the statistics that I know is from my guide. I would like to thank my department as well. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the thing with medicine. Now you think that this is an end branch, and then you finally find something to do afterwards.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so the teaching, and obviously, like you mentioned, obviously, if you're in a central institute like JIPMER, so you always have a lot of academic culture in terms of teaching and all. And I think that is very important because obviously now that you're going to do DM and you're going to obviously end up being a faculty in maybe one central institute someday. So, like as a teacher, the only thing I can advise is you should keep on percolating the same culture
Yes,
of
sir.
teaching to your juniors as well because only because I have been doing this study like teaching this thing, so I find that only through teaching my own knowledge is kind of becomes at par. Otherwise you tend to have an exponential drop in your knowledge once you finish all your degrees, right? So again, that is just and obviously now
Yes,
that
sir.
you are in critical care, I hope to meet you in somewhere in conferences and workshops, and hopefully I will stay in touch. So congratulations
Thank you,
once
sir.
again, Dr.
Thank
Shweta.
you, sir. Thanks a lot,
Very
sir.
proud of you from
Thanks a
your
lot
end.
for all your help, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. So congratulations once again, and all the best for your future.
Thank you, sir.